Give her a round of applause.
Well, we start with it. We start with the
round of
applause. Good job, guys. You did it. Welcome,
everybody.
Path of the Jaguar. We're here, another episode with Michael, the Fibonacci from Media Fibonacci.
That's right.
We have Mr. Freddy Fredolo, Charlie Mayo.
The man, the future.
Am I missing any? I think I got them all, right?
More aliases?
Yeah.
I got a bunch of aliases.
Okay, we don't have all day. We have a podcast to record today. We're gonna start off with the first ad. The first ad, whatever you want to call it, stuff that we want you guys to check out. First one is Unseen Cove, unseencove.com. New shirts coming in every day, new hats, new hoodies. Check them out. I'm wearing one right now, actually. As usual.
I am not my thoughts. You are not your thoughts. I've actually been using that. I've been having conversations with this chick, and
we'll get to it.
It's been going great.
We'll get to it. We'll get to it.
Keep moving.
Some Barry Goose stuff is on Unseen Cove.
Barry Goose Records.
Check that
Official.
Stuff out.
That's an official thing, by the way.
Official.
We're not just making things up over here. That's not what we do over here, guys.
And second one for the people who just want to keep going with the future instead of dying with old technology.
I don't know about that green, baby.
Yeah, that green. You gotta get that green to help out the green. You help out the green, you get some green. There is an email in the description if you guys want a solar rep that'll set you guys up with a design, show you guys how much you might be able to save, how much of a good impact you'll have on the environment. Give us a shout out on the email. We'll set you up with one of our professionals. Save money. What was it? Get green while helping the green? Do it. All right. So
that was weak. Where I got it.
I already know where I want to start.
Boom. I like that one too.
So that's
One more
exactly what I was
shout
thinking.
out.
Go for it.
Bedford, the project
Sorry.
coming soon.
Yes, that's
No,
right.
it's all good.
Go for it.
It's all good. We're currently mixing and mastering my project that I've been putting together over the past year, being released exclusively by Barry Goose Records. So, excuse me. But
The beer's going good?
it's going good. Everything's going good, man.
Good to hear.
Life is great. But let's start.
So you were saying something about
I am not my thoughts.
Yes, I am not my thoughts. It's a fun one.
It's a fun one, but it's so real.
Yeah.
So
you need to realize that one.
real, bro. Yeah, because sometimes, any of us could just be down or thinking anything. Oh, I can't do this or I can't do that or whatever. And it's like, whoa there, buddy. Be very careful what you're letting into your brain and what you're letting it do and how it's controlling you, just because you are not your thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
You are not your thoughts. You have thoughts, but that doesn't mean that that's who you are. So, I've been talking to this chick, and she keeps on saying that I'm just like, yo, you're so positive, this and that. It's just like, yo, I wasn't always like this. You know what I'm saying?
That builds up over time.
That builds up.
Yeah,
Yeah, I've been building.
You have to
this
work
shit.
out that muscle.
Exactly. I've been telling her that I basically play like games with my brain. Hack it in a sense. And
I dropping some solid ones at her.
oh, I'm dropping solid. And she loved it. I was saying it to her enough that she started saying it to me.
Okay.
She was responding with, like, if I had threw in some that she might have not thought was like 100% positive, she would have been like, you were not your thoughts. You know what I'm saying? And we just laugh about it now, but it's like, I'm just happy that I could go ahead and do that for somebody else, because somebody did that for me. And you might hear it here and there, but it's like, it takes a while, as you said, for that type of thinking to go ahead and sink in.
It's just once you get the actual realization.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? You can hear an idea over and over and over. Like you hear the same thing when you're a kid. Oh, like you can do anything you want if you set your mind to it. It's like so cliche that like it doesn't even, like, hearing it as a kid doesn't mean anything. And then when you actually start, again, it just doesn't matter. It's not the amount of times you hear it. Everybody's different too. Some people just get it right off the jump. Sometimes your brain just needs to some people, but sometimes it just needs, your brain just needs to start kicking in, and you become like,
Right.
the idea of being aware. Like, it's so cliche at this point, but it's funny because it's like when I first heard that, it actually switched something off in my brain, or switched something on, whatever it is. Same thing with I am not my thoughts, which is, they're both pretty similar. You know what I mean? It's like the whole being in the moment type of deal. If you're just stuck in your head and not actually just observing, you're not yourself.
You're not even there.
Yeah.
You're literally not where you think you are, because
Yeah.
you're in your head. You're not even paying attention to all the opportunities around you. You know, simple things like that. Yeah, and it's very funny when getting into opportunity. It's like,
Go for it.
people will go ahead and talk about it, like, yo, you gotta find the right opportunities and this and that. And it's like some people will feel like, I have no opportunities. I've never was given any of these opportunities. It's like, all right, but the more aware you start becoming, and the more that you're allowing yourself to pay attention to the right things, you start finding opportunities everywhere.
Yeah, because your eyes are open. You know what I mean? If you're walking around and you're just, for whatever reason, you just have a closed mind. Just for example,
Exactly.
like you're closing your eyes and you're not seeing the opportunities that are in front of your face, and it's a external, internal locus of controls. You know what I mean? People think it's the world is out to get me. I have bad
The
luck.
victims.
Yeah, I'm a victim, brother.
I'm a victim, brother. It's true, bro. It's totally true. It's funny. I was thinking about this because, like, so growing up in a family where my mom is a victim, she plays that victim role, and she'll go ahead and, you know, we'll complain about money when I was younger and things like that. And I knew that it wasn't really a resource that we had, or that's the way I felt. And as I'm older now, and I'll hear people like, yo, I got no money, or I can't get any money. There's no money anymore. The economy's bad and all this stuff. It's like, yo, dude, there's money everywhere, bro. There's money everywhere. In your fucking 5-mile radius, there's mad money everywhere. People have money. People have a $5 bill in their pocket right now. Now, that may not be in your pocket. But your job is to go ahead and try and figure out a way to go ahead and get them to give you those $5. But there's money everywhere. You know? So once you start thinking differently and just becoming more aware of simple things like that, it's like, all right, then you stop making excuses for all these things and so on and so forth. And you just, one thing that I feel like that's helping me is I've been trying to take accountability for almost everything. And
Anything in your control, like you're accountable for it.
Control what you can control, but the more aware that you become, you start becoming more aware of the
I knew you were
fact-
gonna say that.
It's annoying. But just more aware of the fact that you could control even more, and that you could just be doing more. You know, sometimes I work out, I get paid hourly, and I get paid off of my commission as well. But I can't really complain about money, because if I really wanted it that bad, outside of my job, I could be going out and hustling myself and promoting myself even more, going to businesses and speaking to more people to help bring in that revenue, so on and so forth. And I could go ahead and take my own initiative and go get it. You know what I'm saying? Really going out there and get it. So awareness is just fucking huge, bro. And how that piles on to more and more things that you start learning about. It's just like, you can be in way more control than you think. Instead of playing that victim role, you could go ahead and start taking initiative for the things that are going on in your life, and stop complaining. Complaining's not getting you anywhere, dude. It's not I used to complain about a lot of shit. Now I try to not complain, because it's like,
Again,
what?
it's the muscles that you're working out. If your first reaction be like, oh, why did this one little thing about on this entire experience is terrible? You're not focusing on any of the good things. You're like, oh, things are working this way. Again, you gotta vent it out every once in a while.
Of course,
we're
still human. We're not fucking
But
robotic.
you want, like, I don't think you should never complain. There's things we should complain about, because there's things that could be better. Right. But the complaining shouldn't be like, oh, why isn't it like this? It's just like, yo, why aren't we doing it like this?
Right.
And then do something about it, you know, if that's what you need to do. But
another thing is in the complaining realm.
in the complain plane?
In the complain plane. I like that. In the complain plane, complaining about how other people, like, if I did something wrong and I get called out on it, and me complaining and being like, yeah, but well, this person did this. And it's like, all right, but that has nothing to do with how I fucked up. That person fucked up too. Yes, they shouldn't be doing that. I should go ahead, or not me, or the other person should go ahead and have a separate conversation with that person to handle their issue. And then
they're crabs in a bucket. They want to pull you down with them.
Yeah, it's like, that shit has not. I have a friend, the coworker that I work with. So sometimes he'll do that, and it's just like, why are you changing the conversation? I'm talking about you right now. Like, you're smarter than this. You know that. So don't
wanna
bring
take
that shit
responsibility.
into a conversation. Take accountability for what's going on. And I just feel like the more that I'm learning about that shit and the more accountability that I'm taking for the things that are happening in my life, that I'm aware that I could just control more, that I could do more, and complaining is not getting me anywhere, bro.
Yeah, and I think that's just why you're going to be more on top of things, and you're going to have more of a solution-based mindset, and you're going to do something and solve it, is because when the bad thing happens, you're not going like, oh, there's nothing I can do about it, and then you just close your mind. Where it's like, fuck, I fucked up. All right, what can I do to fix this? Oh, okay, maybe I could try to do this or this, and then you can work off from there instead of just going, nope, there's nothing I can do about it. I'm cutting myself out. And I think a good amount of people live that way, of course, because it is hard to, not that it's hard, it's just people don't like to blame themselves. Their ego is too strong. They can't be a bad person. They can't be the wrong person. They can't be the dumb person. They can't make mistakes. Me make mistakes. No, I never said that. I never did that. I would never. You know what I mean? It's, and we bring this up in every podcast. We're just gonna say the name and then we're gonna move on. Trump. Now we're moving back on. So
it's very hard to move on after you mention that name.
No, but that's it. Like, it's just an example,
that's an atomic bomb.
Because when you do not want to take responsibility for things, you're not going to be able to fix those problems. You're going to dwell on them because you're in denial. Well, so that's the first step.
Thank you for saying
that.
Yeah,
you know, you have to, acceptance is the first step. You know, if you don't actually realize what's going on, then how can you approach any situation? If you're like floating in a fucking fantasy world where you're this perfect person, I can't fuck up. That's not my fault. Yeah, and that's just that would solve a lot of things. You know what I mean? People just went, oh, I can do things.
It's hard to get there.
It's easier to do nothing.
Yo, how did we get into? Who brought up awareness around that? I know it was through Vivian training and books and all that, but like, I don't necessarily remember the aha moment I got it. I remember living in the Vivian housing and things like that, and I was first starting to be aware of awareness. So, and I ended up, we did shrooms. Shrooms.
So I have an answer that I think would best encapsulate it. So one was different trainings and new books are being introduced, podcasts that we were listening to, mushrooms. Right. Like, we were doing it around that time. Yeah. Like we were doing mushrooms before we something clicked on. But another thing is, I think it's just also our age. You know what I mean? Like, all those things crossed at that point. And because again, you could tell a 15-year-old, 16-year-old, whatever, something, and maybe if we were told these same things, maybe it would have clicked at a certain age, but maybe hard. Not. It's wherever your mind is. We weren't worrying about that stuff at the time. We're still picking certain things up. Like, wow, my brain clicked on a little bit more, but it's been growing since. So it's like, I still look back when we first started coining that term and just using that phrase, awareness, we were getting really big into it, starting off. I still look back at that motherfucker, you didn't know what you were talking about.
I didn't.
But there was this big jump between that and before, and it was just a phrase. You know what I mean? A word. Yeah. And it's like, oh, okay, oh, that's what you're talking about. No, I'm not. I haven't been doing that. You're right.
Yep, it's true. I mean, just for our listeners, even. I mean, you already know, but I literally wrote it down, awareness, and had, fucking notebook paper with lines, the notebook paper with lines on it. And I just wrote awareness on it nice and big, and I just fucking put it up in my room. I had 2 or 3 things.
Reminder.
Just reminders. As I woke up, I just see this piece of paper on my wall, and it just says, be aware or awareness. I forgot what the fuck, but it was some awareness. Mm-hmm. And it's little things like that it's just little reminders, and that's why it's so powerful. When people go ahead and say if you have a goal, if you have a dream, or whatever it is, a powerful idea, write it down. Now I don't know about other people, but definitely for me, I'm the type of person that, for me to get, I have bad memory. Marijuana. I blame it on that.
And genetics.
And genetics. I just literally have bad memory.
Alcohol too does not help.
Excuse me.
Drink more water.
I'm off tomorrow. Anyways, but so, yeah, just like writing shit down. Like for me, I have to do that just because my brain works better that way. And it brings me back to the concept of in school when, let's say a kid did something wrong, they had to write on the chalkboard, "I will not," blah blah blah, "I will not," 50 times, 100 times, whatever. Or with spelling words, writing them out 10 times, whatever it is. But it's like that should really help me out because I'm not the type of person I'm not a reader where I could go ahead and just read and absorb all of that information. Other people can. Other people have those skills, those talents. I didn't build that up, but I know if I wrote something down, it would help me remember it. Even now when I go into work and I have
That's why we take notes.
Exactly.
Because you're experiencing the idea on multiple levels. You're seeing it, you're hearing it, and then you're writing it. You're seeing it now again. So the muscle.
And you're making it come to life.
You're playing it in your head
so
too.
Powerful about it. Like if you have a dream or whatever it is, and something simple, I'll relate it to me. Like if I say I'm gonna make an album or I'm gonna go ahead and do this, like writing that down, you brought it into existence. You now took it out of your brain and you wrote the shit down, and now you have a physical form of it, and you have a reminder. Boom. And you might go.
And
then
you continue to re-experience it because every time you see it, it's like boom, it's that connection to the beginning of it, and the fact that like this thing.
And it sounds so simple, but it's like that shit is so powerful, dude. That shit is so powerful.
And again, also just you thinking it and you writing it, your neurons are firing away, and now you're creating that bond between that idea, where it's like, and again, you're just strengthening that muscle. You're working that shit out, and then it's gonna get more frequent on those charges connecting. So now, anytime you think about it, you're going to. Sorry, I'm high, dude.
No, it's all good.
Yeah.
Anytime you think of it.
Yeah, well, you go on to what you were saying.
I'm gonna keep going off of what you were saying.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Every time you see it,
I was re-explaining what I was just.
Cut me off?
No, I just wanted to know. It was just I was re-explaining it. It's it. It's your
but
fucking
you
neurons
get it.
firing.
You get it because you're already there.
Okay.
But most people like us. What was it? Us 2 years ago, dude. Us 2 years ago.
Okay. What about it?
We wouldn't understand this right now. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes we gotta repeat shit a million times for somebody to get it. So yes, write your shit down, whatever it is. Write all your dreams down. Put it up on your wall. Put it somewhere where you see something you see every day. Put it on your door. Before you walk out of your room, you see it every day. Now you might walk past that thing 1,000 times and not pay attention to whatever it says. You know what I'm saying? You write awareness like I wrote, or whatever it is that you want. You might walk past that 1,000 times. Now, you might not think that you're thinking about that thing or that thing that you wrote isn't there. But subconsciously, your vision saw that. You processed that. Your brain took that in, and that was put somewhere. That's in a file somewhere in your brain. You know what I'm saying? And you walk past that thing 1,000 times and so on and so forth. Like, that's going to take effect. You're not necessarily thinking that your brain's doing work, but subconsciously, there's shit going on back there. And the subconscious is very important. Yeah,
and it's also you're reinforcing these habits.
Exactly.
So now, if every time you see that physical form of this thing you're manifested in your brain, if you look away from it and you try to ignore it, you're kind of driving yourself away from it. Where if you just, again, you see it, you acknowledge it, and you like taking that in, you actually take accountability and take responsibility and do something about that thing. That's when it could go from it being on a piece of paper to the actual thing that you wrote down. This is the thing I'm doing, and then the thing gets completed. But I think if you just keep holding off on it and holding off on it and holding off on it and holding off on it, at a certain point, it's just like, you
Yeah.
I already wasted this amount of time. I'm not going to do it. Or now you just, every time you go to do it because you were fearful, every time you try to approach it, well, guess what? The next couple of times you're going to be just as fearful.
It's true.
Unless
or
you
even more.
Or maybe eventually you fucking figure it out.
It's true.
But if you, are a person who's just going to keep pushing the thing off, and the average person isn't, things are hard to do. They take effort.
They do.
People know, not everybody wants to put in effort. And I think that's just, so we were talking with my mom the other day about just, there's men out there, because she saw some guy that we know, I'm not going to drop names, who we saw a picture of him, and he's there with his wife, and she was saying how like they're constantly like about to divorce because the dude just wants to go out and party, and he's in DR, and he wants to hook up with women, and he's not dealing with the relationship. And we were just saying how more and more, go for it. No, we're not related to the person.
I know we're not related to the person, but we're related to the wife.
No, neither. We're not related to either of the people.
Oh.
Yeah, it's just
people.
I don't people you don't know, but
that's my brain trying to put the pieces together.
I know, and it's funny. I was thinking about it. I probably should have cleared it up, but it was also fun seeing the smile on your face, thinking like, who is it? Yeah. Who's up to trouble? But no. Yeah, it's mutual friends of ours. And we were just talking about like how big that is now more than ever.
What? Divorce?
No, divorce too. Yeah, this is all a part of the same, mass of things that are being caused. But the main thing is people not committing, people not taking responsibility, people not doing certain things. So now this guy's married. He's got multiple kids. Not two of the kids don't live in the same country as him. And he's always out partying, trying to fuck women and have fun.
Right.
Where this lady's like at the house by herself, and like now you're two people who are married together, and you're ditching the person.
Are you talking about an episode of Dominican Dad?
Dominican episode of exactly it's Dominican Dad. Yeah, but that's pretty racist, so we shouldn't say that.
Well, we're Dominican, but
it's
not only Dominican Dad.
No,
it's Dominican Dad.
It's just people who don't grow up. People don't grow up.
Yeah, people don't grow up.
And I can see, I'm not saying like if I'm going to get married, I'm going to be fucking perfect because I don't know.
Right.
But it's just.
You're not.
Yeah. And then Rob was mentioning how it's like a form of youth worship. Mm-hmm. Right? And that's just, you want to be young and you want to have fun. And it's like, doing the things I have to do isn't as romanticized as, I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna meet these people, we're gonna drink, or like, and it's, there was another person we were interacting with where dude couldn't even drive his mom home, his like 70-year-old 80-year-old mom home, because he wanted to drink and party, and then he ended up leaving her. She's partying, like she's not partying. Grandma, the 80-year-old party. I'm lit, bro. But so he wanted to party from like 2 o'clock to like 8 o'clock. No, the guy.
The guy wanted to party.
The son.
The son.
He's there. He's drinking all day. He doesn't want to leave the person's house.
Gotcha.
And his mom has to stay with him.
She's at the house. She's at the party.
She wants to go home. She's an old lady. She wants to go home.
She's tired. Yeah.
She's tired. She's always tired. But he wants to continue to hang out and blast music. And then he finally bounces and then leaves her at the house.
He forgets her?
I guess. I mean, I don't know if he forgot or he just bounced, but that's just... Imagine being an 80-year-old woman and your son she's probably like, yeah, whatever. He's probably like 50 now.
Do we know these people?
Yes, you know these people. The guy's probably like in his 50s. Mm-hmm. And imagine your 50-year-old son just can't get his shit together. Because people want to party, people want to be young, which is good. But there's got to be...
Yeah, there's got to be a balance. And
some accountability.
Accountability and... accountability of your responsibility.
Yeah, same thing. Yeah.
And it's just like that's a very interesting thought, because I've been thinking about that a lot too. So like me and my mom will go ahead and have conversations, and she'll we'll talk about that, and she'll be like, no, she can't. She's not like, I don't want to say that we're so enlightened, but
we're not.
Right, but there's levels to this.
Yes, there's levels to this.
Yeah, so a big fear of her, or a big fear that she would have, would be like her passing before me getting to a certain age, that I couldn't take care of myself. Like when I was younger, for example. And I literally had the discussion with her the other day, and she was just like, yeah, I used to literally just pray to God that like I would just live to an age where you got to an age that you would be okay. And that, you know, if I was, you know, past 8 years old or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like, but like, that's a major fear, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, if you baby someone and you baby your children and you cripple them,
you're crippling them. Absolutely.
That's exactly what you do.
babying
You're
them,
crippling them. And now
mentally.
So when you get to a point where it's your time is up and you have your last couple of days, last couple of weeks or whatever it is, like that's going to be running through your mind. And that's going to be hard on you because you didn't prepare them. And now you're wondering, this person that still hasn't grown up, is he going to be okay? Like, I'm going to die, whatever, but like, are these people going to be okay?
Yeah.
Or, you know, shouting out to the other brothers and sisters like, hey, just make sure that he's all right. And so on and so forth. And sometimes you can't help that stuff. You know, people have their own issues, but our jobs as humans, if we're going to bring life to this world, that's a big thing, man.
Probably should take care of that thing that you created.
Take care of that thing and prepare
Make sure it's
that
good.
thing.
Yeah. But that's, again, responsibility.
Yeah.
What do you mean I'm going to stay home and take care of this?
I'm
No,
just having a
fuck
kid.
out of here. There's bars here and there's this here and I want to go do that.
I had a kid. This person's going to take care of it. I got a babysitter for the night.
Scary thing. Again, like, I would consider giving somebody my kid. Like, you know what I mean? Or, like, donating sperm and all that. But then,
Whoa.
for example, like, if there's a woman who can't have a kid.
Right.
And she wants a kid. And
how much do they pay you for that?
not much. But I'm just thinking the moral implications of donating sperm. So now you're helping somebody. They want to have a kid. You give them this kid. But now, who knows who these people are?
Yeah, that's your DNA running around.
But does it matter? Like, or it does matter.
On who
you
are.
probably don't
to
want.
me, it would matter.
Yeah, right? Like, if you just found out years later that, like, your biological son or daughter was just in a whole... Well, they also... I'm sure they go through a lot of background checks with these people that they donated to. I'm sure they're responsible for that too. Like, you gave who a baby? What? What were you guys thinking? No. You didn't even meet the...
You're saying they do the background check on the woman that's trying to have the child.
Or the family. Even like adoption. I think, I don't know. But
Right.
that's possible. I can't speak on it.
From what I've heard, like adoption-wise, that's a whole process. Like I used to work
Adoption-wise,
with this guy
yeah, it's very... that's even
went
more
through
extreme, I'm
multiple
sure.
kids that he was adopting, and like certain situations just turned out terrible, because his wife couldn't have kids.
Okay.
But they spent like thousands, like over 10 G's. You know what I'm saying? Just like
I don't understand.
paperwork, getting all this shit done to just go ahead and adopt a kid because they couldn't have a kid. His wife couldn't have a kid, and they wanted one, and. You know, you'll get a batch and...
You get a batch?
You get a kid. You'll go ahead and get a kid and, like, you know, the guy's super excited and everything was great at first. And then after, like, a couple of months, you know, the kid starts being a terror. He starts running out, not listening to anybody, cursing the parents out, all of this stuff. Because, you know, they're not mentally stable either. I mean, their parents got rid of them. Now they're living in a freaking warehouse with a bunch of people. And people are signing them out to random people. You know what I'm saying? You don't even know how to live. But eventually they returned that kid.
Oh my god!
Here's my receipt.
God.
And then he got like a set of twins of like girls, and like the last time I talked to him, like it seemed like everything was going good, and he was just like super happy about that. But, like, hopefully that stuff works out. But
yeah, it sucks though. You know, like I get like, oh man, like this kid's being a terror, but imagine giving up on a kid. But I guess what can you do? People don't want to get help.
Thousands of dollars, and you're trying to do the right thing, and this kid is cursing you out, not obeying your rules, leaving the house at a very, very young age, doing whatever he wants.
Aren't those the kids that need the most help?
I understand.
I can't speak for him because I'm sure there's a certain breaking point where you're like, yo, I can't do this. Especially because if the person doesn't want to be helped, you can't help them.
Yeah.
But you got to feel a certain type of way, you know what I mean? And it's like, those are the people that need the most help.
Put up with?
Who knows? Like, imagine, like, what if your biological kid is like that though? Like your
That's
kid.
different. That's a biological.
Yeah, but why? Well, I guess it is different. It is very different. But how different though? You know,
Over $10,000. Nah, I don't know.
you spend more on your own
yeah,
kid. But anyways, it doesn't matter. My point is like your 15-year-old kid wants to fucking go out and he's always getting arrested and fucking destroying your property and just.
What are they seeing? I would ask.
Yeah,
them,
you'd
what
probably
are they seeing?
you'd have
what
to be
have
someone
they
to blame.
seen?
What do you mean? What are they seeing exactly?
You know what I'm saying? Why are they thinking this way? I would
Probably because you're not a great parent. Maybe there's also just biological things too, or just certain circumstances on the way they were raised. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. A parent not being around, or passed away, or
right.
or an economic thing, or parents are working all the time, or just ignorance on the parents' part of just not knowing how to be a parent, because people really aren't taught these things too well, or just taught at all. Mm-hmm. Kind of, I'm sure there's some stuff out there, and I'm sure you just again have to take responsibility and figure it out yourself. Maybe we shouldn't worry about they should teach us. Just learn that shit on your own. Just make it happen. But when it comes to kids,
we're talking about a fairy tale here.
Yeah, well, we're talking about kids here. Then,
but most of the time, it's kids having kids.
Yeah, that's true. That's the fairy tale.
And having a kid is to me, as I'm getting older now, I'm realizing just how selfish it is.
No, it's not. It's not selfish. It's because,
but
you're becoming, self.
It's a great thing what you're doing.
It's not selfish just because you're benefiting out of it, or you enjoy it, or because you're the one that's completely in charge of the decision that's being made. But the person's coming to life. That's kind of cool. Thanks for that.
Amazing.
And then you're also taking care of this person.
I didn't make this decision, but thank you.
But here, now we're gonna make sure you're fed all the time. We're gonna make sure that.
Well, I would hope you would. You brought me here.
Yeah, exactly. But like, I don't think it's selfish, because that's how you lose a lot of your selfishness.
It depends on who.
Because the parents are like when they start. Because me and you, for example, we don't have kids, so we won't understand something like a father would have when they had to do whatever for their kids. Where like you talk to any parent, they go, "Oh, it changes the way you look," and of course it does. You know, fucking little drugs can do that to your brain. Imagine having a kid, like you're creating this person, and then you're now switching the way you live your life.
Entirely.
And it's a good thing, because people need to grow up. Mm-hmm. It's again that the youth worship. I want to stay young. I don't want to have a kid. I want to just which is fine. Do whatever the fuck you want in this incarnation. Not everybody has to have kids. Not everybody has to do certain things. Do whatever you want, enjoy it, but I'm sure you're gonna miss a certain chapter in your growth if you don't do it, right? Or maybe it's not like a linear thing. It's just another skill that you're getting, but I'm sure it's a big one, because that's what we're designed to do. That is our purpose. And when people go
survival,
survival. Because why there would be no people. That's it. If you don't do this thing, if you don't have a kid, there will be no people, and then there's none of this. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Yeah, sorry that thing. Just
don't worry about it.
You want to just throw it to me? Check, because I don't. It's probably been like a bit, but we gotta finish up soon. So
when
we can
I say
start
selfish, I mean it's just like, I guess it just depends on what state of mind you're in. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes, people go ahead and be like, "Oh, I want a kid." You know what I'm saying? But they don't really know. I don't know, man. I don't know what a kid entails. And I feel like I'm pretty... If I had a kid right now, I would still panic, but I feel like through everything I've learned, the things that I've been through, and when I was younger, I used to take care of a lot of kids. And, with all that shit, changing diapers, feeding kids, understanding that, you got to be up at fucking 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning, and doing all this shit. Oh,
doesn't sound fun.
You want to sleep? Well, this baby's crying. Why? You haven't been able to figure it out for the past 2 hours. They're just cranky and they don't want to go to sleep. Dealing with all that shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot that comes with that stuff. So a lot of people can go ahead and just jump into things and be like, "Oh, I want to be a dad," or "I want to be a mom," and do it because it's like, it's it's almost like it's a pet, a puppy. You know what I'm saying? Like
people do treat it that way.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
People have kids to fix their relationships.
To trap people, all of that shit.
I want to trap people.
Yeah, like it's you know, it can be a very selfish thing, and it's like, yo, if you're not prepared, if you can't even take care of yourself.
Yes, you're right. Yes, there are people who do it for selfish reasons. Absolutely. Yeah. Oh my God, I'm sure it's a good percentage too. Because
that's what I mean.
There's a lot. Yeah. Oh my God, that's awful. Because there's people who want to trap people because whether they have money or they are obsessed with them. Boom, now you're with me because now we have a kid together. Those are the first.
That's not the way that works. Just so you know now.
And then,
if God doesn't like you, the guy just doesn't like you, and he's not gonna stay with you if you have a child. And like, he can leave whenever he wants.
Mm-hmm. And then the next one is with people who think that because things were good before,
or vice versa.
they're gonna work better sooner or later. But if we have a kid, he's gonna change. He's gonna grow up.
She's gonna change.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He or she's gonna change. That's if you're getting into a relationship, you're trying to change the person. Help people, motivate them, but don't change people.
If you want to change the person you're with, then you should just find another person that you like.
Get on to the next one then, because you're not going to change that person. It's very unlikely. Hey, you could. But why would you even want to do that? Then why start with them? You know what I mean? Like if you don't like the person, I guess it's just maybe it's just the idea of you're good enough, and maybe it's the right decision in certain people's cases. You're good enough.
I also think people just aren't aware of their options.
Yeah, they don't know their values.
Awareness, once again.
Oh.
So, like, because it is difficult. Let's say you're in a relationship, for a while. Let's say you're in a relationship, this is one of your first major relationships. You've been in it for 2 to 3 years, 4 years, whatever. You spent a good amount of your life with that person, and you feel so comfortable with that person that you feel like you're never going to meet anybody else that's going to know you like that person. Mm-hmm. But they're not really necessarily taking into account that, listen, that person got to know you over the past 4 years. Like, you grew, they grew, and that's what made it so powerful, so on and so forth. So it's like, some people might be stuck on the idea of, like, no, that's my love, that's my own. And, like, I'm not saying I don't believe in true love and all that, but, like, you can find somebody else. There is somebody else out there. You know how many people are on this planet?
Yeah, but it's hard. You know what I mean? Not hard like I'm making an excuse for it.
I want to get into hard. That discussion after.
No homo. For people, it's them. They're not gonna want to put in the work into it. So there's the that sounds like, what if I fail? So you have that fear.
Yeah, the fear.
You know what I mean? Like, oh, I might not work out, or the fear of loss. Like, oh, what if this is the right person? Yeah. Like, and they convince themselves, no, they are. People tell themselves the stories. Like, oh no, this is the person for me, and they make excuses for people, and I get it. 'Cause again, what are we doing on this planet? Like, what's a big thing that we do? It's we match up with somebody, and there's a lot of weight to it because this weird monogamy thing just makes people think they're like, hey, I have to end up with somebody, and I can't, and this is the person I'm gonna be with forever.
Yeah.
But it's also a good thing too, because you probably want somebody who is your partner. You know what I mean? Yeah. You're looking out for each other all the time, and like you're creating this life.
Yeah, it's a story that you're being sold all the time. I mean, think about it. Even as a little girl goes ahead and a 2-year-old, a 1-year-old, whatever. Since you're a child, the cartoons and all these things and all these shows that you're watching, all these movies, even Disney movies, all these things, like, they're selling you this image. This is what a perfect life is. Oh, the princess is in danger, and the guy comes and saves her, and they end up, together forever, and they have this family, all this stuff, and it's like, yes, that's a route. That's a route. That doesn't have to be a route, but that's a route, and most people, a large majority of people want that because, think about it. Let's say you live to be 80. If 80 years of your life you've been, shown this image.
Oh yeah, of course. And then you're also
you're programmed, dude.
Yeah.
And yes, it is. Yeah, we are programmed. Yes, it is nature. Yes, we
But we're also programmed by nature too. You know what I mean? So it's like
even deeper. Holy fuck! Exactly. Like,
falling down that hole.
I don't know, man, but like, that's why back to awareness. You know, be aware that if you're in a shitty situation, you don't have to be in that relationship. Mm-hmm. You don't have to be in the predicament that you're at. You don't have to be at that job you don't like. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You signed that paper, and you chose to take that job. So when people are at a job and they're complaining about the money that they're making, or they're complaining about the things that they're doing, you know, I hate mopping floors. I hate, you know, I'm better than this. You know, whatever.
Yeah, are you? What makes you think that?
Or why is that bad? You know what I'm saying?
Why is it bad? Somebody's got to do it.
Yeah, somebody's got to do this. Some people go ahead and do that and love it. It's like, yeah, I take out the trash in my house for free, but they're going to pay me? You know what I'm saying? So just, you know, your perspective on it. But like, you signed that paper. Mm-hmm. You knew what you were getting into. Don't get mad now. Mm-hmm. You made a decision. You made a decision and 4 years ago.
And you're still making that decision.
And you're still making that decision. You don't like that?
Yeah.
Change it. Mm-hmm. You go do it, and you go sign another piece of paper at another job with the credentials that you want.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but again, nobody's gonna hire me. I'm a victim. Nah, brother. Man, the economy's bad, and like, I'm sure that's a big thing that makes the economy go bad in the first place. I
am not my thoughts.
Because there's this, like, when you think of like, all right, you have a person and their individual thoughts, they're not their thoughts, but also like our entire civilization, like, we also have this thought collectively, just a collective unconscious. You know what I mean?
Right.
Where all of society believes this thing. And we believe what we are, like, oh, you know, like, we are American, and we are, you know, Catholic, and we. Right.
This is who we
because,
are.
Yeah, because we share these identities and these thoughts. Mm-hmm. We make them ourselves too, and it's like we trick ourselves. Because the fucking idea floats through your head, you think it's real. Like, oh no, that's actually how I feel. No, maybe there was just a random thought that pops in your head, and like,
right.
And I noticed that, like, how much that comes into with like meditation, for example, because that's what you're doing when you're meditating. You're paying attention to your thoughts. Like, these weird things just pass through your head, and like, you think about it, and if you're not paying attention, you'll believe it and you'll live that life. But if you listen to it, you go, wait, I don't actually feel that way. Why did my brain do that? I didn't actually feel that way. When you dive deep down to it and you think about it, it's like, oh, okay, no, it's completely false. And then you can fix those thoughts and you can stop them from happening. Sunday, I had a float. I did a float for 2.5 hours.
Yeah, how'd that go, man?
Yeah, so that was I think that was like probably like my 6th float. I usually do them an hour and a half. I did one 3-hour one, but this was a 2.5-hour one. And I also took 2 edibles about 40 minutes before I hopped into the tank. And that was a really cool one. Yeah, it was really cool. I really enjoyed that one.
2.5 hours?
2.5 hours. And towards the end, I was getting a little like moving around, but it was like good because I was still in a relaxed state, and I walked out like pretty relaxed and like didn't, very.
I gotta try that.
It's a little expensive, but you'll get a lot of benefits from it. Mm-hmm. So one cool thing about this was because I'm high, so my mind is like racing and thinking of all these ideas, but I was also in a meditative state. So like I was already like immediately I jumped in and my brain was attacking certain thoughts. I'll think something and I'm like, no, I don't actually believe that. And I was like kind of putting them in there like bins. Like, okay, this is a fake idea. Like it resembles nothing. It was just a random thought. Throw that one away. Oh, there's something there. And let me analyze this one. Let me think of that one. Or I'd be like, oh, that's a negative thought. I don't want to think that. That's me complaining. You know, what I mean, that's me being a bitch. So let me not think that way. And I'm shutting down. And then I'll have a good thought. And be like, oh, cool. Let's dive deeper into this one. Yeah. And it was just
analyzing your thoughts and what boxes they go in.
Mm-hmm. Because you're sorting yourself out. Exactly. And that's where it comes down to like the same thing with writing. Because that's one thing I did is I made this image in my head. Because I'm in there for 2.5 hours. I'm thinking of a lot of like, to me, profound ideas. And I want to make sure that when I step out, I remember them. Mm-hmm. And it's hard to do because there's a lot of it, and you're there for 2.5 hours.
And it's your thoughts, so they're flying in and out of your brain by the millisecond. You know, even faster.
Yeah. So one cool thing I did was I essentially was painting this picture in my mind. I was like drawing something out.
Right.
So like when I'll think of an idea, I'll throw a symbol in this image that would remind me of the idea, or I'll write the word in the image, and I'm seeing it in my head.
Okay, this is all going on in your head.
This is all in my head, and I'm just picturing this thing. And then anytime I'll think of a new idea, I'll orient it somewhere in the image. Like I can still see it right now, like not vividly. There's a couple things, but because I know I put this image next to image A next to image B.
Yeah.
I know how to work from each image, so I can paint the whole thing out. Can draw the whole thing out. Right. So that's what I was doing while I was in there. And I'll think of this idea. I'm like, all right, let me put that one right next to this image. And then I picture it. And then when I think of that, another image that I want to put next to it, I'll go back to the other idea. So that when I stepped out, I drew it. Yeah.
You were able to remember that?
Yeah. And then I got out of the float tank and I drew the thing out. And like I did it like probably 2 hours later. I didn't draw it out right away just because I ran to the next thing that I had to do.
Right.
And I was able to draw it out and then look at it and I went, oh, okay. And then I remembered all those ideas so that I can go back into them further and actually write on them.
Right.
And it's the same thing when you write. Mm-hmm. When you're writing, you're sorting yourself out. After my DMT trip that we spoke about in the last episode.
Not DMT, salvia.
Yeah, I don't know why I keep doing that. Thank you. Salvia. Appreciate that. Kelvin was asking me, what was it like? And as I started talking, I realized that I was, he's going to misinterpret me. I know he doesn't understand what I'm saying. So I sat down for 5. Ooh. Anybody that it was Kelvin, but if I explained it to him where my mind was there, it was going to make no sense. So I sat down and I wrote. Just took out my phone and I wrote it out. I sorted out my idea and it made a lot of sense.
That especially for somebody like me, that helps a lot too. Just because visually, I'm a visual person, mm-hmm. so you could talk to me and some things might go in and out. I might miss certain keywords, but like if I read it, I might interpret it in a different way. It might mean more.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody works differently.
Yeah, and also just being able to say it to yourself.
That's true.
Yeah, like when you're in chaotic situations, for example, that's a great way to like sort it out. Mm-hmm. Like one thing was, there was like one time this girl left me for some other dude and I was like at work all day, like thinking about it, and that shit was fucking driving me crazy, And like, cause I have to, in my mind, I'm like creating this speech that I need to tell her to like, and it was chaos. It was just such an annoying thing to deal with. So then I just started writing it and I wrote out the whole speech. So that I can actually, like, and I fucking remembered, it was so fucking lame, but it's just what I had to do to, like, approach the situation I felt in the most prepared manner and also the least stressful, you know what I mean? Because I was able to, like, really put out how I felt, Mm-hmm. And that's the same thing you do, what I did in the tank and what I do or what you can do when you're just, situations, like, shit just goes wrong. Shit went wrong? Mm-hmm. Well, let me figure out what actually happened and what I can do and pretty much like walk through it in my brain. Let me walk through this thing, see it from all these different angles and think deeply on it. You're meditating on it. Yeah. That's what you're doing. You're meditating on this idea and you get to break it down into all the different pieces and then you can actually.
It's very interesting. You said that about like writing it down and stuff, mm-hmm. and it's like you want to tell this girl this, and you want in your head you might want her to feel a certain way or to give you a certain energy mm-hmm. back, but like ultimately you're just really doing that for you.
Yeah.
And you went ahead and you wrote that for a reason. And so the girl that I mentioned earlier, the one we've been talking about.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I told you at one point I wrote her like a poem. I wrote her something.
Okay.
So as I was talking to her, it got brought up. She still had it. I forgot the order that I wrote it in. Like I remember the concept of it, and she's like, "No, I still have it. It's in, So I was like, "Yo, can you send me it?" And, so I finally got it. So I'm gonna wrap all this shit in together. So I'm gonna let you know.
I'll let you
know.
At
the time, just for the listeners, is this on?
No, it's not.
Anyways, it's all right. Let's keep it moving. So sorry the video went out, guys, but we'll keep it moving. So
Enjoy the logo.
yeah, enjoy it. Look at it, it's beautiful. Isn't it? So the whole thing was that me and this girl were talking, and eventually we stopped talking, but like I still had her in my mind, and I still thought about her. And as you know, we're humans, we all get emotional. I had like an emotional moment where I was at Elvis's house, one of our cousins' houses, and it was a family gathering, and this is like year and a half to 2 years after my grandmother died, which is very close to me. So me seeing like all the uncles and aunts together in those moments was very hard for me. It was sad because I felt like I could see the sadness on all of their faces, and I could see the act or the happiness that they were pretending to put on, as if like, oh, this is another regular gathering. It's like, nah, motherfuckers, we're all dying inside. Mom just died, you know? So I left that party early because I wasn't feeling the vibe, so on and so forth, but I was emotional, and then I started thinking about this girl, and I just wanted to write. And I wanted to talk to her because she's comforting, or at least that's what my brain thought, you know? So I write this there, but I'm going to bring it all together with... we do it for ourselves. It goes, sometimes I feel like calling you. You probably think I'm weird. I've lost all fear. Sometimes I need an ear. Sometimes I feel like calling you. Sometimes I check your Instagram. Sometimes I check your gram. I've lost all fear. This is probably more for me than it is for you. I'm too honest. I'm definitely weird. I've lost all fear. Sometimes I feel like calling you. I'm definitely regretting this. Sometimes I need an ear. Sometimes I wish it was yours. Sometimes. So
Wow, that's good. I like it.
Thanks. Yeah,
you've told me before, but it was.
I'm just happy that I got it
years.
back. Now I know what I wrote at the time. But it was just cool because it's like, when I wrote that, in that moment, I really just needed an outlet. You know, I needed an outlet, and I needed to write something. And that's just the way I express myself. So I ended up writing that shit out, and as I wrote in there, this is probably more for me than it is for you, which is 100% true. This isn't about her. Yeah. This has nothing to do with her. I needed a fucking, you know, some people need to yell. Some people need to cry. Some people, you know, whatever it is. It's like I needed to do that at that moment. Yeah. And even though I haven't talked to you in who knows how many months, I was thinking about you, and you were the person I wanted to send that to. You were my outlet. I don't need a response. I don't care about actually talking to you. I just need to get this shit the fuck out of my system.
Yeah, and that's the best way to get it out is like, again, putting it into this thing, this physical thing, and now it's out of your head and it's there now. But especially when you can pass it on to them and you got to communicate like, hey, by the way, this is how I feel about this. Yeah. Now, it's not only real in a physical way in your phone or on a piece of paper, but it's also existing physically and metaphysically in the person's brain now. Right. So now,
and you brought it to life.
You brought it to life.
I thought I lost that forever because I deleted that entire message, that entire, you know, conversation. So I lost that on my end. I would have never gotten that again until we reconnected later on, a year later, so on and so forth, and she still had that, and I finally got it.
And yeah, a year later, the boomerang came back to you.
I was so happy. I was just like, if you know, regardless of what happens with this situation, but like, I'm just happy that I got that back because now I got exactly what I wrote instead of me thinking like, I remember it was something like this, and me trying to put those pieces together.
And the good thing is, because now you got it back and you got to say it on the podcast. It sounded pretty cool. I like that and I think that's a great way to finish it off. You know what I mean? That the poem was dope.
Thank you.
And thank you very much.
Fun.
And now everybody else got to hear it with us. Thanks for joining on Path of the Jaguar, everybody. Sorry for the video cutting out at the end.
This was a lot of fun, guys. Thanks for listening, man. And be aware. Or just think about awareness, because I promise you it's going to bring you, you know, it may not be today, it may not be tomorrow, it may not be 3 months from now, 6 months, 9 months, it may be 2 years, 3 years, but that shit's going to start clicking. So start paying attention to the things, start taking more, you know, responsibility, accountability for your actions. And once again, thank you for listening, guys.
Peace.